Listen, guys. Listen and learn. Oh, we are learning things here. And guys, it's important to agree to learn, because the things that we hear, it is not until we hear them that we will understand. So listen here.
I want us to
Listen.
really interrogate. In my village, just like yours, my former teacher retires. The first thing they do is to buy a matatu. Or hapo kwa shopping center yetu anajenga hapo. Pesa ya retire. Karibu wote. What am I trying to say? Those businesses are good. They are good because they facilitate movement and they facilitate trading. But probably even my brother and sister in the same industry, there is much more they can do around there. What am I trying to say? Kenya is also a broad country. Yani kama huna we measure your success by how many plots you have. Maybe we'll talk about that later. Nikienda kumaliza. By the way, I'm almost finishing. Now, allow me now these minutes, because I can see here, next time, this one here, this is the lead sponsor. We would want in the next few years to come, the owner of this lead sponsor will be from this hall. And therefore allow me the remaining minutes, even if you do not understand what I'm saying, and I only talk to 2 people who will do that, I'll be satisfied. So if you do not understand the things I'll be saying, uniwie radhi. Because I would rather talk to 1 table who may actualize, become this, than talk to all of you and start small dots of businesses. And because we have brain and capacity to all be here, let in the next few years, there'll actually be an auction in this hall, all of us bidding to be this. I'm talking about how we must fashion ourselves in this hall to move from being net worth of 500,000, net worth of a millionaire. And because all wealth is granted by God, that we also break that ceiling. Those figures we hear of billionaires, we also aim. And number 1, moving from that comfort, I'm trying that we move from that comfort of being a dealer for Oilibia or for Total, to being the Total yourself. That's what I'm trying to say. From being a dealer of Safaricom to being a competitor. That's the kind of thing I'm trying to talk about. Mumeanza kuenda chini mnauliza sasa huyu mtu ni vitu gani hizo? When you want to move to that level, you do not own 100% of your business. There is no billionaire in the entire world who owns 100% of the business they are associated with. None. Mark Zuckerberg, in terms of Facebook, in fact, let me just to be precise, Jeff Bezos owns 12.7% of Amazon. Elon Musk owns 13% of Tesla. Bernard Arnault, the one for Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, is the richest man in France actually. He owns 46% of LVMH. Warren Buffett, the renowned investor of Berkshire Hathaway, owns only 16% of Berkshire Hathaway. Larry Ellison, the one for Oracle, owns 35% of Oracle. Bill Gates, as I talk to you now, all of you know Microsoft is owned by Bill Gates. He owns less than 1% of Microsoft. Coming to Kenya, when you ask somebody who owns Cooperative Bank, they tell you Muriuki, the CEO. He is actually from here, Nyeri. He owns less than 5% of Cooperative Bank. But what is 5% of Cooperative Bank? A bank with a market cap of around 20 billion Kenya shillings.
Let me come.
5% means he is going to over 6 billion Kenya shillings. 5%. Now you with your 100% of your business, how much is it worth? There is a friend of mine who is also my mentor. Can you tell me by a show of heart who owns Equity Bank? By a raise of heart, tafadhali. I'll pay something for that. Naona Wakikuyu ni wengi hapa mkono. Who owns Equity Bank? Monga. Very good. He is also a good friend of mine. So hata nikimkute hapa, he will not be offended. Somebody else who owns Equity Bank? Yes? Mwangi. Can you start? Sitakuita hapa. Najua public speaking, you can't ambush somebody. Who owns Equity Bank? Please rise up, my sister. Who owns Equity Bank? Monga. You said Peter Monga. Now listen, my brothers and sisters. Mwangi, the CEO of Equity Bank, owns 5% of Equity Bank. And all of you told me he is actually the owner of Equity Bank. If you look at the financial statements of Equity Bank, you realize the top shareholders of Equity Bank are not Kenyan. They are FADs, including Norwegian FAD. Do you know Peter Monga now owns less than 1% of Equity Bank? Now keep your 100% of your business. In business, and niliacha kuongea sasa mtu wa kuanza kiosk. Tumesema Mungu anatubariki to start chains. Is that so? Don't seek to own a fish pot. Seek to own just a slice of the ocean resources. Because the fish pot utaweka net, utasweep all your resources in there, and you have to give it months. Dive into the ocean. You are just given a slice, but that slice is worth much more than having many fish pots. And how do you do that? You have a business here. Mambo yote hata nimesema ya bookkeeping is combined. You have a business. You've started, let's say, of making yogurt, making organic soap, of making whatever you may think about. Now you are already progressing. There is so much market, but you can't satisfy. Now out of your bookkeeping, you realize your business is now worth 10 million shillings. But do you know what? You are already feeling very wealthy. And you cannot release. Hii kitu nimeanza na jasho sana. Mimi siwezi leta mtu wa kunisubua. A different person, what do they do? You look for an investor and bring you 5 million shillings into that business. It's not going to your pocket. But you give them 10% of that business. Now, if you receive 5 million shillings for 10% of that business, the valuation of that business becomes instantly 50 million shillings. You use this money to expand other markets, to expand your operations, to buy more machinery. Later on, you get another investor. Now you've already grown, even people are noticing your brand. They come in, they give you 20 million shillings, and you give them a 20% of your business. If a 20% of your business is valued at 20 million, instantly your business becomes 100 million. So
now I want this guy to advise me in this life, because I cannot be going round and round in this life without advice. Knowledge is power. What we are hearing and what we'll continue hearing is gonna be power. How to make things work. But above all else, we have to remember to pray for our businesses and to trust God in everything that we do. We are now going to be bringing such episodes for people to be educated. Please keep checking and subscribe for those that haven't.